Hey guys, hope you're all having a great day. So in today's video, I planted 5 different plants in the ground that's in my backyard at my mom's house, and I'm very excited to see how these are going to be filling in this space. But let's take a look at what I planted. So I am at my mom's house. You can see the deck right here that we walked down. Here's the hot tub that recently went in, but we put these 5 plants in this bed here that we just created this year. The first thing I want to talk about is this Longstalk holly. So the unfortunate thing about this tree is I actually was not able to find much information about it. The only information I really have is from the tag from the grower. So variegated Longstalk holly, the variety is called Frosty Morn, but it says hardy upright tree to 20 feet, and it has evergreen leaves. What's nice about this tree is it shows up in some leaves and not as much in others. Maybe this is a better example right here. But the edges of the leaves are a little more of like a yellowish color, and you kind of see that throughout. So it's not like a extremely perfect variegation on a plant. I think this is maybe a little bit more of an unstable type of variegation, but you definitely see it on some of the branches, and it definitely looks different from the straight species of Longstalk holly, which I have seen at the gardens of URI. Now, the idea of this, I have to kind of back up a little bit so you can see the whole picture. We created both of these beds this year, and on the right side here is a Japanese umbrella pine, which will kind of end up looking like this. So it's a very narrow, kind of Christmas tree looking shape, but it's going to grow about 20-25 feet tall and then maybe 10 to 15 feet around. So it'll fill up that whole corner. We'll have to move some plants in the future. Don't need to worry about it right now. But it's a nice evergreen plant. And then here, I wanted to have another evergreen that'll fill up this other space, because if you take a look at the deck, you can see that the stairs come out quite a bit from where the deck starts. So there's kind of like this big like triangle that I'm trying to fill in. And this is going to look more like an ornamental tree. My plans for this is that as it grows up, I'm going to limit up from the bottom, because it does just kind of look like a large shrub right now. But it'll be like a multi-trunk tree with evergreen leaves. And what's really cool about it is you can see that it's all budded up right now. You can see all those little flower buds. I want to say they're probably going to bloom white, but I honestly was not able to find that information even online. And they have gorgeous red berries in the fall. So I'll see if I can find a couple pictures online of what this will look like. For whatever reason, Longstalk hollies don't actually seem to be all that popular, but I ended up choosing this plant because my mom loves a lot of tropical looking plants, even though we are in Rhode Island in a zone 6. So I just try to make do with what I can. And to me, this holly definitely looks a lot like a ficus. If you look at kind of the shape of the leaves, I actually was confused when I first saw this plant at URI and wondering how there was a ficus that was surviving our winter here. But yeah, it's just a Longstalk holly. If you're looking for this plant, the botanical name is Ilex pedunculosa. So that's how you can find out for sure that it is a Longstalk holly. The thing that's hard about this plant is there wasn't much information online, but generally it's going to get about 20 feet tall, and it does grow taller than it does get wide. So I want to say it's maybe like 10 to 15 feet wide. And it's spaced about 6 to 7 feet from either side of the deck here. So I think it'll basically just graze the edge of the deck once it gets to a pretty mature size. Now in front of it here are 4 of the same roses. These are from Proven Winners. They are a type of rose called Oh So Easy Italian Ice. Now none of them are in bloom right now, but you can see they're all budded up. These are roses I ordered when they had a sale in maybe January or something, so all their shrubs were 40% off. They were about like a quart-sized container. And I actually was pinching all of these buds so that way they would focus specifically on like growth, just so that way they would get bigger, and so that way they would have a nice shape. Because some of them, like when I planted them, this side was a little less full than it is now, but they seem to have a pretty decent shape at this point. So these roses are going to get about 1.5 to 3 feet tall and wide. They're spaced about, I think it's 28 inches apart, so they're basically just going to touch or maybe grow into each other a little bit. And they're about 22 inches from the edge. So they should get right up to about the edge of here. But I think they're going to stay a little bit on the smaller side, at least for right now. I can always prune them to keep them in shape or to keep them in size as well. But I think they make a nice little border here. And when these go dormant in the winter, you'll still see the beauty of this Longstalk holly since it is an evergreen. These roses have a really cool color. They're kind of like a yellowish pink, and my mom loves roses, so I'm just adding a lot of roses into the garden. But I think that they're gonna look really, really cool in this spot in more of the summertime. and they're supposed to be very long blooming. I also saw on their website that they're pretty salt tolerant, so if you want to plant any roses near the road, if you get a lot of salt in the wintertime, if you have snow in your area, these are a good rose that you can plant as well. Now when I planted these, I just added some topsoil and composted manure, and I did add Biotone starter fertilizer for these roses just to get them going. But the soil's not too bad here. This is one of the areas that we did sheet mulch, but we did that earlier on in the season, so it did break down quite a bit, and I don't think we're gonna have too many issues with grass popping up in this area, but I'll just keep that in check for the rest of this season. So besides that, we're just gonna watch these fill in. I'll just water them throughout the rest of the season because we are into almost July at this point, so it's gonna get hot. These definitely need a decent amount of water, but not really any other care besides that. So hope you guys like this video, and I will see you in the next one.